Picture perfect way for the Kansas City Chiefs to start their season as they blow out the Arizona Cardinals to get to 1-0. But before we get into my instant reaction, please be sure to subscribe to the channel and like this video, as I'm going to keep you up to date on anything Kansas City Chiefs related that you do not want to miss out on. And without further ado, we got a lot of fun stuff to talk about, so let's get right into it. Now, to clear some things up for the people at home watching, this is my instant reaction. So basically what this is going to be is exactly what I said, my instant reaction. So I'm not going to give you no in-depth analysis or anything like that, like Kansas City was 75% doing that, stats or anything like that. It's going to be you seeing my pure raw emotions right after the game, and I'm basically going to cover all three phases, and we're going to have fun dissecting it, and then tomorrow I'm going to give you a game review. But first things first, getting to this game, we're going to kind of talk about the negative, and not like negative like plays or anything like that. We're going to talk about this injury report because it seemed to pile up in this game, and that's what tends to happen early in the season, whether it be conditioning and things like that. Every team experiences it, and it feels like Kansas City had a lot of it going on against the Arizona Cardinals. And of course, we're going to focus on our pure main quarterback, the GOAT in himself, and it's Patrick Mahomes. He did play the whole game. Well, not the whole game, because he was way too good to finish the game, and they had to bring Henny in to close it off. But you guys know what I mean. And he hurt his left wrist landing on it early in the first quarter. That didn't faze him whatsoever in the game. He will have x-rays after the game, and we will probably get more initial reports once this game is completely over and going into Monday morning. I will have you guys updated with that too moving forward. Honestly, my initial reaction, of course, I'm concerned and scared. I mean, if Mahomes is hurt, that changes the whole aspect of what the Kansas City Chiefs are going to do this season. But he also showed if he's hurt and he can still play, he is going to be a problem regardless. The boy had 5 touchdowns. Let's count them. He had 2 to Allaire, 1 to Fortson, 1 to Kelsey. Oh, I am missing one. Who was it? Ooh, Chiefs Kingdom, don't get on me. What did I say? 2 to Allaire, 1 to Fortson. McCole, there we go. 5 on one hand, and you could tell we're going to get a petty Mahomes all year, and that is a huge advantage for Kansas City. When he had that 4th one and he was sandwiched by 2 Cardinal defensive linemen, he basically threw that 4 at them, was like, y'all going to have to do way better than that to stop me. I got a hurt wrist. Ain't nothing taking me out right now. And that basically reminded me of the Super Bowl against the Niners when he says, someone's got to hit me. Someone's got to hit me. And he is running with that. And when he does that type of emotion in the game, he's showing he is hard, if not unstoppable, to beat. Y'all could take your Josh Allen. Y'all could take your Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson. Until someone takes the crown from him, and yeah, you could say Burrow did last year. I don't care. That was the whole team thing, and they were able to beat Kansas City. And yes, Mahomes didn't show himself in the second half. At the end of the day, he is still the best quarterback in the league, and there is no stopping him. And we're going to get right back to this injury report because there were some unfortunate injuries. Willie Gay did get hurt, and that kind of concerned me because he fell on his own, but he was able to come back in. It might have been cramping. It's really hot in Arizona, so that's something I could have anticipated. Maybe why most of these injuries were happening. But again, there was some with Trent McDuffie. I don't know the severity of it. I don't think it's what I initially thought. We didn't hear his name often in this game, which for good reason, because he was actually doing his job and he was shutting down his side of the field, and that's what we need. For him, apparently it was a non-contact injury. So when you hear that, you're like, oh, shit. We have a torn ACL, a torn Achilles, but initial reports is it's his hamstring. Do I know if he'll be ready for a quick turnaround against the Chargers? If I was to give you my reaction right now, I would say no, but I don't know the severity of it, so we'll have to see how it goes throughout the week. But with McDuffie getting hurt, Jalen Watson came in and he has some really good plays that I will talk about later in this video. But sticking with the Watson, but we're going to go on the offensive side of the ball in Justin Watson. He also was carted off too. He had a chest injury that I didn't even see. I just saw a report on Twitter that he got hurt, and I'm like, when did this happen? I did not even see that coming. And I was like, oh, wow, this is very surprising. So hopefully he's healthy too, and hopefully, again, this is a quick turnaround, so it's going to be hard for a lot of these players to play on Thursday, but if it's nothing too serious, they can make it back on the field. The key injury besides Mahomes was Harrison Butker. He, right away off of a kickoff, I don't know, we're going to find off initial reports too after on the injury report. He landed on his ankle pretty bad. I don't even want to say he landed on it. It was how he planted it, and that thing completely twisted. hopefully not broke or fractured, but it didn't look good. And then we got to see the young kid in Justin Reed, the safety, come out there doing the kickoffs. He even made an extra point. He missed one too, but you're going to get that since that's not something he practices every day. It was good to see him come out and actually fill in for Bucker at the time being. But then Bucker, you got to give it to him. He has heart. A lot of us may be hard on him because he misses short field goals and he drills long ones. But he came in at the end of the half when it could have been crucial if KC doesn't score any points there, field goal or touchdown, and he drills a 54-yard field goal. And that was all heart. Like, I gained a new level of respect for Bucker after that because he literally took one step and drilled it. And we heard all offseason how great Bucker has been drilling 70-yard field goals. That really displays the type of talent Bucker has, to take one step on your bad foot and plant on it and then drill a kick. That is ridiculous. It's insane. I don't think a lot of people really focused on how magnificent that kick was, but it was really good. And then he even stayed in for the rest of the game. Didn't miss no extra points afterwards. He was very solid. Again, we'll have to evaluate that too, because if it's something significant where swelling can increase, because that's what injuries like this happen. Yeah, it looks bad now or it may not be as bad, but when you wake up the next morning, you're going to feel a whole lot of different type of pain. So if Bucker happened to break something or fracture something, if he feels bad now, he could feel worse tomorrow. And we'll just have to see what the x-rays and MRIs come back with. Again, like I mentioned, quick turnaround. I don't know if he'll be active against the Chargers, and I don't know if Kansas City wants to go forward with Justin Reed kicking extra points or even attempting field goals too, because that's going to put Kansas City in a weird situation to where, even though it worked in this game where he can do kickoffs and then be right back on defense because this wasn't really a game, Chargers, I expect to be highly competitive, back and forth type of game. Defenses are going to have to make plays and offense is going to have to make plays, and they're going to need Justin Reed out on defense as much as possible. So I don't know if that's what they want to do going forward. Also, though, with it being a short week, do you bring in a kicker? Like, I don't know who's on the free agent waiver wire or anything like that. If there's any good ones to replace Bucker for a few weeks. But it's going to be interesting to see moving forward if the severity of Bucker's injury can be like really bad throughout the season. Man, so we get right into the offense, and I don't even know where to begin because this is exactly what Chiefs Kingdom dreamed about, was Mahomes proving all the doubters wrong, saying, you really think Tyreek made me? You think I'm just not this naturally gifted? Come on, guys. And he mentioned it in press conferences throughout the week as he's going to spread the ball around. And boy, did he ever spread the ball around. I kind of want to dissect it player by player, but I don't want to prolong this video. But let's focus on the other GOAT, and that's the tight end and Travis Kelce. He went off today, and I found it ridiculous when initial reports came out that the Cardinals were going to cover him with Isaiah Simmons, the linebacker. Are you stupid? Like, really? Come on now. Like, a linebacker on one of the greatest tight ends in history, you're gonna cover him with that? Of course it didn't work out, and everyone would have known, and they stuck with it. And you basically asked for it, which was crazy to see. And Kelce is Mahomes, basically all reliable. That connection will always be in sync. He had 121 yards in like 3 quarters, and it was quiet after there. And it's great to see that connection. I think that connection, if you ask Chiefs Kingdom, yeah, you can hype up Hill all you want. Mahomes to Kelce connection is the #1 in Chiefs Kingdom, and I'm not saying that to slight Hill whatsoever or down talk him or anything, because Hill was great and probably the greatest wide receiver in Chiefs history. But at the end of the day, I think the Kelce connection with Mahomes is way more potent and will kill way more offense, will kill way more defenses, and we've seen it today on full display. Now let's get into these wide receivers, because I love seeing the connection with Juju early on. He was picking up good yards. He's that physical receiver that Kansas City needs. And he did have that one negative play, but also that was just a very good play by the linebacker to punch it out. But the awareness by Juju needs to be way better, because that could have led to, did it lead to points? I honestly don't know. I'm drawing a blank. But I think it could, no, because the defense came back. That's what was way impressive, was the defense had back-to-back stops in the 2-minute warning too after Juju fumbled, when those points could have been piling up and this could have become a game. The defense held their own. Let me get back to the offense. Like I mentioned, this is my instant reaction. My mind is running, so we just having fun with this. But I like to see Juju in his first game basically establishing a #1 position and basically getting core receptions, and even after his fumble too, He got another catch too, showing Mahomes does trust him, and then MVS even got involved. MVS is really good on those slant and dig routes, and you could tell just with his speed. I don't know. I know it's nothing like Hill, but it's great to still have someone that explosive where, hey, you better keep him in check because he can make you regret a decision quickly. And then Sky Moore had in a very, very impressive play where Mahomes basically hit him like on a 10, 15 yard, what was it, a post? It was something like that. And I thought he was down, and he just ended up going low, juking him out, and then he ran for another 10 yards. I'm like, that's the type of things you want to see in this wide receiver room. Yeah, we had a Hill, but after that, you had no one. The depth in this wide receiving room is crazy. Now, I'm going to talk about another guy too, Mecole Hardman. He was the one I was kind of disappointed with. He did have a solid touchdown, and if you look at it, it looked like the same touchdown that basically Mahomes threw to Hill in the playoff game against Cincinnati where Eli Apple basically destroyed it. And you would imagine that's the exact play, and Hardman executed it to perfection. But on the first drive, I got really kind of annoyed and upset with Hardman because Mahomes put it in a place to where the safety couldn't make a play on that post. But again, I didn't see no effort there. And I was like, boy, stretch your hand. Like, literally go all out. Like, you just see him go like that. And I'm like, come on. Like, if you dive, you do something. Like, show the effort. Like, I don't know if you're going to catch it if you dive, but if you show us, like, okay, you put Arizona on notice right away. Kansas City still scored a touchdown, but I was just like, I'd love to see a guy who basically has big play implications throughout any game. It can be a game breaker. And also, this is a huge year for him, a prove-it year. I was hoping to see, hey, show me the effort, show me you can do something. We saw it on the touchdown, so it was great to see. There was another play I'm drawing a blank on where he kind of upset me, and I think it was one where it was out of reach, but it's also like he stuck one hand out to barely try for it, and I'm like, come on, dude, what are we doing? Like, everything's looking really well, and so did he, but at the end of the day, it's just like, I want to see more out of you, specifically when it's a contract year and when you have a lot riding on it. Show us what you're made of. And then let's get focused on the tight ends. Again, we're going to keep talking about depth. I already talked about the GOAT, so no need to further discuss it. We know what he's going to do on a weekly basis. And I was incorrect when I mentioned Jody Fortson was going to get the first touchdown to start the year. That was Kelsey, but he did get in the end zone. And I think Jody Fortson, he's going to be your red zone guy or goal line guy. When Kansas City feels like they can't just hand it off and run it in because of whatever reason, Mahomes is going to trust Fortson, and I feel like Fortson is going to pile up a lot of touchdowns this year. And also, too, Noah Gray had a couple good catches in this game, too, where it's like, damn, the depth is showing in this as well. And then we're going to go into the running back room where all you CEH haters, you ain't got much to say in this. Yeah, he didn't show much in the second half, and I think that's basically what Kansas City is going to do moving forward because all three running backs had a very solid game, had impressive runs where it was like, KC, if they establish a run game, who beating them? And CEH was the first one to start it, and on that first drive, he looked impressive. He looked like he had a burst. He looked like he had a power. He looked healthy. It was exciting to see. And then Jet McKinnon came in with rotations, and you saw his speed. You saw him taking screen passes and basically making plays, and you loved it. And then the fan favorite himself, the grown man, Isaiah Pacheco, he closed this game out, and boy, he's probably the best back on this team. Yes, he is definitely raw, and I forgot what run it was. It was probably his longest run of the day with, what was it, 25 yards, where he basically broke it out to the left sideline. It's something he will learn, but he's got to trust in his speed. I believe if he didn't do like that stutter with the safety and he just ran, I think he would have got him. I think that would have been a huge run. Well, it was already huge, but like I think it could have potential to be like a long touchdown run. Now, he did cap it off in the end zone and get his touchdown, which I think is so great to see because a rookie basically ending the game out and you give him his first touchdown ball to keep and take home. That was exciting to see, and I'm glad. Like, it's crazy, like, just going through it. The depth in this wide receiver room, the depth in this tight end room, and now the depth in this running back room. Yeah, we may not have the best at every position besides tight end, of course, and Travis Kelce, but if someone needs to step up or if someone's locked down, you got that next man up, and that's what Kansas City always tries to do moving forward. Now let's flip the script on the defensive side of the ball, and I think for the very first game with this new unit and trying to sync and gel together, I think they looked very impressive until it got to the third and fourth quarter. And again, you never know if it's the scheming that's doing it or if it's just the players' play, because it didn't seem as impressive as it did basically going into the fourth quarter, and Arizona started moving the ball, and maybe that was just garbage time. You never know with that type of stuff. But to start this game out, they were coming after Murray, and you could tell the blitz packages that Spags was calling was actually working. There was one where I was like, and I mentioned it too. It's like, you can't just go after Murray. You got to get him down. Because if you don't, he's going to make impressive, elusive plays and extend it, or he's going to run. And he did do that often, but at the end of the day, it didn't really equate to much. Like, Jones had him wrapped up, and then he got out of his grasp. And then there was a fumble, too, where Jones basically stripped. I don't want to say that was Connor. I think it was their backup running back, who I'm drawing a blank on his name. And he landed on the ball, but they both didn't know where the ball was, and the running back got it. There was missed opportunities out there as well. I want to say one thing Kansas City probably struggled is they did good on locking down the wide receivers on the outside. And now a lot of people will say, well, they didn't have Rondell Moore or DeAndre Hopkins. Hey, you play a team with who they have out there, and at the end of the day, the Kansas City Chiefs held their own in the cornerback room. But when it came into the middle of the field, and when it was the fourth quarter, you started seeing the tight ends get more involved. But when Kyler, you knew what was coming was, hey, I'm either going to run the ball or I'm going to dump it down on my running back. In Kansas City, and we've noticed that in the past too, they can't stop those short passes to the running back, and that's something they need to tighten up a little more. I think Willie Gay is going to be your guy to try to perfect that and stop those type of plays. Week 1 wasn't the perfect example of how to execute that, definitely in the fourth quarter, so that's definitely a need and room for improvement. But I love seeing this pass rush, definitely early on. Snead started it off with a huge sack. Chris Jones was disruptive. George Karlaftis, even though he didn't have a sack, he was in the backfield often. And Frank Clark was inconsistent with it, but he did get out there. You could tell he's faster than ever. It's just when you're playing someone as fast as Kyler Murray, he's hard to get down. Another guy I was very impressed with today was Juan Thornhill. He looked like a missile out of a rocket. That kid was flying across the field. I remember there was one where Murray broke the pocket, threw it on the right sideline. You don't even see Juan Thornhill in the picture frame whatsoever, and he just dives and almost makes an amazing interception. And then he had another one of those plays. Juan Thornhill is fully healthy. And that should scare a lot of teams because he is probably one of the most athletic players on this team. And he could be one of the top safeties in the game too if he can stay healthy throughout the year. So that's a name to watch because he wants to be an all-pro player. And if he's healthy throughout the year, I think it's very, very possible. Now, I mentioned Trent McDuffie. Yeah, we didn't hear his name a lot, but for very, very good reason because he was actually doing his job. He wasn't thrown out whatsoever, and the injury, I never even saw it either, but apparently it was a non-contact and he fell on his own, which scares anyone, any fan base whatsoever, and we all grasped it when we saw it on social media. But it tends to be hamstring, and hopefully that's the case when the injury reports come out throughout the week. But I want to focus on Jalen Watson too. He did give up a touchdown, but that was basically, to me, a very impossible play to cover. And that's the same route that Jody Fortson ran too. When a wide receiver, tight end, you name it, come back and fight for the ball and your back isn't nowhere in position to make a play, that's an advantage wide receiver all day, every day. But Jalen Watson made a couple of impressive plays out there where you're like, kudos, kid, because you were a 7th round pick, and in my eyes too, I was doubting you. I thought Joshua Williams was the better cornerback, and now the verdict is still out because Joshua Williams, we know he's the raw talent, but to see Jalen Watson come in right away and basically make plays, that's impressive because we know this cornerback room is so slim that, not slim, but youth. That's the word I was looking for. And when you bring out guys who don't have that much experience out there, you tend to hold your breath because you don't know what you're going to get. So it was great to see McDuffie do really good out there. And then when Watson had to cover for him after injury and him being very solid, that was very impressive to see. Now we're going to cap this video off with the special teams. And I dove into Bucker and his injuries and things like that and the impressive ability he showed. And the courage he has, it was just amazing to still go kick out there. We don't know the severity of the injury. We do know he's hurt and probably really bad because he was limping after every kick. And to show the guts and the heart he has, so impressive. Like, you earn much more respect from me than to start the game, and I've already had a lot of respect for him. But let's focus on the punt and kickoff returns too. I don't know if that's going to be the way it is moving forward, but I definitely love Pacheco as the kick returner. He had a couple good well, there was actually only two. Oh, no, three. But he had a couple good kickoff returns. But Sky Moore, too. You could tell there's still room for improvement there, but he was very impressive as well. There was, where I say room for improvement was the one that was basically bounced to him, where it bounced and then it bounced right past him. But Sky Moore is very new at this. He actually never fielded a punt in college, so to see him actually not even muff a punt or anything like that, and even the one that bounced to him, he recovered it cleanly and still made a play on it, so he knew how to do that. So that was very exciting to see. And he was explosive. Like, he may not look like the fastest player out there, and you may want McCole over him, which McCole actually took the first punt. And then after that, they just stuck with Moore. I don't know why. Maybe Tobe knows something we don't know, but he ran with Moore, and it was cool to see. I would like that. I would like Moore being your punt returner and Isaiah Pacheco being your kick returner, and you just let the rookies do their thing and see how that goes moving forward. But with that, Chiefs Kingdom, I am wrapping up this video. This was an exciting and impressive display from the Kansas City Chiefs, basically routing the Arizona Cardinals. Let me know some of your thoughts in the comments down below, and I will check back in with you guys tomorrow on a game review, on basically dissecting a little things better. Just, I want y'all to see my instant reaction, but if you don't want to miss anything, please be sure to subscribe to the channel and give me that big thumbs up and like this video. I will check out. Y'all take care. Peace.